Hey guys, what is up? It is SSD Middleman here with Guides for Us All, and we are back with Warframe from scratch episode 15, so let's get right into it. I started the quest The New Strange and then gathered and crafted all the Warframe parts you need to craft Chroma's parts. I'm not going to go too in depth on the quest, I basically completed it over the course of recording this episode. Then, I finished crafting the Amphis, Boltor, Hind, Comb, Plasma Sword, and the Sobek. Then I found an alert going on for an Orokin reactor blueprint, and I could not pass that up, of course. Then I went to the dojo, got the Banshee parts, and began crafting her, as well as finishing Mirage, which is awesome. I know Mirage is a fan favorite for a lot of people, for good reason. Then I finished crafting the Banshee parts and began crafting Banshee herself. Now I went leveling. I was going to level and max out some more stuff, but I got a little sidetracked with some other things. But basically, I maxed out the Plasma Sword, Zephyr, the Amphis, and the Boltor. I'll be doing a lot more leveling in the next part. Then, a lot of people were asking about builds and getting your weapon to be more powerful, so I went and formed my Vacor Merilock and put a potato on it, which is just an Orokin reactor, for those who don't know. Or is it a catalyst? Oh gosh, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's a catalyst. So, put an Orokin catalyst on there, re-leveled it after formatting it, and I went online and found this cool 100% status build for the Merilock that works pretty effectively. I can one or two shot most enemies, and actually you're supposed to have the Jolt mod, where I put the crit damage increase mod, but I did not have Jolt, and it costs like 60 plus platinum to buy, so I just passed it up. I sacrificed a bit of damage from the build, but overall it's still pretty nice. Like I said, you can one or two shot most enemies that are like level 30 to 50, which is pretty good. Of course, if you want a really powerful Merilock, you're going to need to form it a couple more times. And I'd also like to say this is not the end-all be-all build for a one form of Merilock. I'm sure there are better ones, but I found that this one is pretty fun to use and works well for me. And I farmed a lot of Void missions trying to get some Saren parts, and I was successful in getting the blueprint for her, which I then promptly sold for about 45 platinum because the price of her parts is only going to go down. And then I found a guy who actually wanted to buy a Necros augment set from my syndicate, so I bought that and gave it to him for 20 platinum, which is pretty nice. Then I went resource farming. A lot of you guys have also been asking where to farm certain resources. I only farmed 3 in this part, but maybe I'll delve more into it in a future video about how to farm all of them. But I went to farm salvage. I went to Mars Wahiba, I believe is the name of the node. And I got a fair amount of salvage, about 5,000 in a 15 or 20 minute run. You can do a lot more if you have a Necros, and I highly recommend getting Necros and then go resource farming. You will get an infinitely larger amount of resources. It's crazy. Now in this run I also got 4 Morphics and 1 Gallium, which is nice. That's a little bit of a side effect of playing on Mars, as salvage is the only common resource. You will always get a bunch of salvage, and then, you know, Gallium and Morphics will come along as well. Now I went to farm Plastids. For the lower level people, you probably want to go to Saturn. But for me, I personally went to Uranus on the survival mission Ophelia, because you have the potential for Tellurium, since it is technically an Archwing mission, and of course, since it is on Uranus, you will also get Polymer Bundle while playing through these missions, which is really nice. I found that Polymer Bundle and Plastids are 2 resources I often find myself short on, so farming from them both at the same time is always a plus. Now, I was kicking myself because I completely forgot about Titan Extractors, and we're on the 15th part of this series, whereas I probably should have crafted the Titan Extractors a long time ago, like in the first few parts. But anyways, I started crafting a Titan Extractor, a Distilling Extractor, the dual Ether Swords, the dual Skana Swords, the Gamma Core, the Ignis, the Penta, the Rubico, the Patient Zero Quest Blueprint, and the Limbo Theorem Quest Blueprint. Now I know it's a lot of stuff, mostly I believe I crafted some of this because I had Argon Crystals, and the Ignis, of course, is from Clan Research. But nevertheless, I finished the New Strange quest after a while of crafting the Chroma parts and began crafting Chroma himself, which is a Warframe I've actually never used, so I'll get to see if I like him soon in the future. Then I went and cleared all the planet nodes on Ceres, for a reason you'll see in a minute, and I found a buyer for the Secura Dual Sestra for 20 platinum. Now, the reason I finished all the planet nodes on Ceres is because I wanted to put my Distilling Extractor on Ceres, and I wanted to put my regular extractor on Mars. Now the reason I put the regular extractor on Mars is because the only common resource is salvage, so you'll be getting salvage a lot of the time when you have it on Mars, and when you don't get salvage you either get morphics or gallium, so there's really no downside to putting that extractor on Mars. Now the reason I put the distilling one on Ceres is because I often find myself quite short on circuits, and the distilling one has a higher chance to give you uncommon and rare resources. So if I'm lucky enough to get the rare resource, I get Aurican cells, which is another one that I usually don't have a ton of. So in my opinion, those are two good places to put your extractors. Of course, I've delved into this in the past in another video, which was actually the second Warframe video I ever made. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. Then I went ahead and cleared all the planet nodes on Sedna, and that about wraps up everything we've done. You can see the void missions and the vault runs I did here on screen. I was trying to get some of the Warframe corrupted mods because those are pretty much what you need to make good builds with your Warframe. And I'm going to do a lot more vault runs in the next part too, as I'm really trying to not just rank up my gear now, but get it into the end game / late game tier. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like rating down below and subscribe to see some more videos in the future. If you'd like updates on videos and other strange posts, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook at GuidesForUsAll. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.